Radhe Radhe, a spiritual good morning to one and all, regardless of where you are joining us from. And welcome to this Bhagavad Gita Recitation Series recap video. Mummy and I just started chapter 10 today of the Bhagavad Gita. So here we are to present you a quick summary of what we covered in class in terms of recitation, brief explanation, and adding on to your Sanskrit vocabulary. So for us, along with me, we have Mummy.
Radhe Radhe, and a very warm welcome to the new chapter, Vibhuti Yog.
So we'll first have one round of the recitation, which, given that we're at the beginning of a chapter, we also will have the invocation prayer. So we'll have that opening prayer as well as chapter 10 verses 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Then we'll learn one important Sanskrit word from each verse, and then I'll briefly explain each verse, and then again, Mummy will cover one full round of the recitation. So let's get into chapter 10, opening with the invocation.
Chapter 10, opening prayer. Om Shri Paramatmane Namaha Atha Dashmodhyayaha Vibhuti Yogaha Shri Bhagavanuvacha Bhuya eva mahabaho Shrinu me paramam vachaha Yatteham priyamanaya Vakshyami hitkamyaya Name vidu surganaha Prabhavam na maharshayaha Aham adir hi devanam Maharshinam cha sarvashaha Yo mam ajam anadim cha Veti loka maheshwaram Asamudha samarteshu Sarva papaih pramuchyate Buddhir jnanam asammohaha Akshama satyam dama shamaha Sukham dukkham bhavo bhavo Bhayam cha bhayam eva cha Ahimsa samata tushtihi Tapodanam yasho yashaha Bhavanti bhava bhutanam Matta eva prithag vidhaha. So now let's look at one important word from each verse. So verse number 1, I have chosen Priyamanaya. Priyamanaya means Krishna is saying to Arjun that Arjun is his beloved confidant. Then verse number 2, I have chosen the word Prabhavam. Prabhavam means the origin, because Krishna is saying he is the origin of everything, this whole universe. Verse number 3, the important word is Asammudhaha. Asammudhaha means those who are not deluded. Those people who are wise, they are undeluded. Verse number 4, Damaha. Damaha means we need to control our senses. And then verse number 5, a very common word which is very important, that is Samata. Samata means equanimity, meaning remaining same in every situation, be it joy or be it sorrow. Now I'll go back to verse number 1 And let me point out some small nuances in each verse. So, in the class I mentioned, can I look at the verse, Gagan? Yeah. So, wherever there is this letter S in Devanagari, as we see in the second pada, Yatte Ham, that means behind the scenes there is a but while reciting, it is hidden. So while reciting, we will not say the word is aham, but while reciting, it says yatte ham. Then let's look at verse number 2. Viduhu. If we say separately, then it is viduhu. But because here the visarg is coming before sa, so we will not pay too much attention on viduhu. We will straightway say name vidu surganaha. It will be directly connected to sa, vidu surganaha. Now look at another thing. In the first pada, there is this word maharshayaha. Sh. That sh, the tongue will be little rolled. That is shatkon sh. And the one below sarvashaha, that is normal sh, which is shalgam sh. So we'll say sarvashaha. Also notice that visarg at the end of every pada goes along with the sound of the last syllable. If the last syllable is a, then it will be ha, a. If it is u, then it is hu. Okay? So the sound of ha, visarg will go according to the matra of the last syllable. Let's look at verse number 3. So, veti, there is ta, one full ta and one half ta. So, veti, and there is choti ki matra. So, it will be sharp, short, veti. Another thing, notice in the second pada, sarva papaif pramuchyate. Now, this visarg is coming before pa sound. So that is why the sound of the visarg will sound as ha, not ha. So we'll say sarva papaif pramuchyate. Sarva papaif pramuchyate. Similarly, in the beginning of the second pada, there is a visarg before the sound sa. So we will join it quickly. Asamudha. We will not say asamudha, then sa, then marteshu. No, we will join it. Asamudha sa marteshu. Okay. Let's see what is special about verse number 4. Verse number 4. Again, okay, normal visargs are there. I have talked about the letter S. So it's all good. I want to talk about the first pada of 5th verse, where right at the middle of the pada, the word tushtis. Now that sa, half sa is coming right at the middle of the pada. And so we will change it into visarg. So we'll say tushtihi. Ahimsa samata tushtihi. So these are the small nuances of all these 5 verses which you should take note of. Over to you, Gagan.
Thank you, Mummy. We'll quickly learn the brief explanation of each of these verses. So let's look at chapter 10, verse 1. The catchphrase given here is faculty's friend. Sri Krishna, of course, being the Supreme Lord and the Supreme Teacher, the Supreme Guru, he mentions here that he is sharing this secret information to Arjun for his welfare, and because Arjun is his beloved friend. And in fact, as Swamiji says, as Mummy explained the Sanskrit and English translation, Arjun is Sri Krishna's confidant. So we are, of course, also learning vicariously through him. So it is Sri Krishna explaining for everyone's welfare and only to certain people. In this case, Arjun, because he is a dear, beloved friend of Sri Krishna. Chapter 10, verse 2, we've seen before, as early as in chapter 4, that this is secret, confidential information. Here now we learn the secret source. Sri Krishna says that even the great rishis, the seers, the devtas, the gods, they do not know about Sri Krishna's origin. Swamiji gives the example that each of us doesn't know about the birth or the childhood of our own father. Likewise, because Sri Krishna is the source, the devtas and the rishis even do not fully comprehend the real nature of the origin of Sri Krishna. It's interesting because then chapter 10, verse 3, the catchphrase here as a question is no release. So do you know how to be released from, illusion and evils? Or if we don't, maybe there is no release, N-O. Here, Sri Krishna, interestingly, it's not a contradiction, but he does explain or say in the verse that mere mortals like us, some of us, can actually know about the origin. And as we've learned over and over again, the essence is through divine grace. Sri Krishna also states in this verse that he is the Supreme Lord. He expresses his dominion over everything that exists. But again, the idea is that with our efforts and sadhana and with God's help, with his grace, we can then understand all about God. We can know about him and be released from illusion and from all the evils that we face as mortals. Chapter 10, verses 4 and 5, they come together. Chapter 10, verse 4, the catchphrase here is Q of qualities. Chapter 10, verse 5, we learn about the causation of characteristics. So in these two verses, Sri Krishna again establishes or reminds us that he is the Supreme Lord over all the abodes of existence. And in these two verses, he introduces us to 20 different emotions that manifest in a variety of ways in different human beings. And what happens is that we go through those, we see the positive and negative aspects of these emotions or characteristics, all being manifested as Sri Krishna's energy. And how we do that, we'll learn it in depth when we get to chapter 10 in Bhagavad Gita study. We'll get introduced to the term Purusharth. So that, in a nutshell, is the essence of chapter 10, verses 1 through 5. Now, one more time, we shall listen to their complete rendition, including the opening prayer, the invocation.
Om Shri Paramatmane Namaha. Atha Dashamodhyayaha Vibhuti Yogaha. Shri Bhagavanuvacha Bhuya eva mahabaho Shrinu me paramam vachaha Yatteham priyamanaya Vakshyami hitkamyaya Name vidhu surganaha Prabhavam na maharshaya Aham adir hi devanam Maharshinam cha sarvashah Yo mam ajam anadim cha Vetti loka maheshwaram Asamudha samarteshu Sarva pape pramuchyate Buddhirjnanam asammohaha Kshama satyam dama shamaha Sukham dukkham bhavo bhavo Bhayam cha bhayam evacha Ahimsa samata tushtihi Tapodanam yasho yashaha Bhavanti bhava bhutanam Matta eva prithag vidhaha. So that brings us to the end of these 5 verses. Hope this recap video helps you all for revision of these 5 verses. We will see you next week, Saturday, same time. Just note this for new participants that do sign up on the portal page so that you have access to the recap video. Also, do notice that sometimes if there is a very important event at the Radha Krishna temple, sometimes in that case, if our class is clashing with that time, then it gets cancelled. But we will let you know through the portal page. Also, you can put in your contact number on the feedback page on the attendance tracker. Over to you, Gagan.
Yeah, thank you, Mummy, for those reminders and all the explanation. So indeed, we do look forward to seeing everyone in this continuing journey. So Bhagavad Gita chapter 10, next Saturday, that will be the 2nd of December, 2023, 11 a.m. Central Time, 10:30 p.m. India time. Till then, thank you so much. Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.